Hi, everybody. Debbie from MadameStitch here, coming to you because another square in our fabulous Granny Stitch sampler blanket crochet along has dropped today. I hope all of you are enjoying making your squares. I've seen some fabulous pictures in the Facebook group. Continue to share because it's inspiring for other people to see. And it's so neat to see what color combinations you've come up with. So please keep sharing in the group. All right, today we are talking to Hortense of Knitting with Chopsticks because today her linen granny released. Hey Hortense, it's nice to see you.
Hi.
How are you? I think
Good,
this
good.
might be the first time you and I have talked in person. We've emailed and messaged and done all manner of things together, but I think this might be the first time we've spoken in person. So it's really great to see you in person. All right, so there may be a lot of people in my crochet community who don't know who you are. So I would love it if you would share anything you want them to know about you, about Knitting with Chopsticks, about your business, what you do. Just the floor is yours. Let them know all about you.
Okay. So hi everyone. I'm Hortense. I'm from Belgium. So I have a French name that's really, really hard to pronounce in English, but you don't need to worry about that. You can call me whatever. It's fine. I don't mind. I run the blog Knitting with Chopsticks, where I share both my knitting and crochet patterns. I know my name is confusing. Maybe someday I will change it, but I started with knitting and then fell in love with crochet and don't want to pick one or the other. But my name was already there, so that's what we're going to go with.
Do not change it. I love it. It's fantastic. Go with
Thank
it.
you. I know it's sometimes confusing for people, so that's why. But in case you're wondering where the chopsticks come from, I used to live in Southeast Asia, in Malaysia for 4 years. And that's where I started my blog. So like chopsticks kind of look like knitting needles. So that's the idea behind it. So I share mostly knitting and crochet patterns for beginners to intermediate level, for women, home and kiddos. So mostly women garments, blankets, and baby sweaters or baby outfits. And a few like sometimes a bag or sometimes like home decor stuff, but those are the main things I like to make. And I decided I'm going to make what I like and not what's trending. So you probably won't see many like trends coming around. Mostly like modern, like timeless designs. I also share tutorials and have a few ebooks and courses to try to help you work with patterns and understand them better so that you can adapt them and make whatever you want the way you want it. And I just started hosting summits. So you might have heard about the Crochet Blanket Summit, where Debbie was a speaker to a few weeks ago. And there's a knitting summit coming in February that I just started planning. In case there are any knitters out there, keep an eye out for that. And I think that's most of what I do.
You have some great resources. So I highly recommend that everybody check out your website and tap into those free resources. Those resources, free or paid, whatever they are, but you have fabulous resources on your website. By the way, thank you for sharing how to pronounce your name. I was a voice teacher in a previous life, and so I was always teaching French, Hortense, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's
Close.
pretty good.
I mean, that's my US
That's very good
version
for a
of it.
non-native French speaker.
I know, right? And French for me has always been the hardest to learn how wrap my head around. So anyway, all right. So we talked about the fact that your square number 3, has released today officially in the crochet along. So one of the things that we're here to do is to share what you did with your square. So what we see here is your original. These are the colors that you chose to do your original sample in. If you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit about how you came up with your design, what's involved in it. So, in anything that you'd like the people who are making this square starting today might need to know to be successful at it.
Sure. So how did I come up with the idea? I was actually playing around with the idea of like a linen stitch blanket when I got Debbie's invite for this event. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. I'm just going to combine both, like granny stitch and linen, because then it won't take as long as doing a linen stitch for everything. But I'll still get like the color play that I like that you can have with linen stitch when you work it with different colors. So that's why you can see like the gray dots from the like linen stitch classic look, and then the green like granny stitch. But I did have to tweak it a little bit. I used two double crochet instead of 3 double crochet because I found that for me with 3 double crochets, because you're doing a chain for like the linen stitch part, you would get some holes, and I don't like my blankets to have holes. So that's why there's only 2. So it's not a classic granny stitch, but close enough.
Yes, but what we're doing in this crochet along is we're taking that granny stitch and we're making it unique. We're either pairing it with techniques like the linen stitch, or we're modifying it a little bit to show its versatility. So I think that's wonderful. And that describes a little bit of what our design process is when we have an idea in our heads. Sometimes it doesn't translate as well to yarn and hook as it does in our head. So you have to make those little modifications to make it work.
Yeah, exactly. A few other things I want to make sure you guys know. So it looks like there's a lot of color changes and a lot of ends, but I included a like detailed step-by-step picture tutorial to show you how you can have like only basically 3 ends. So like your starting end and then 1 end for each color, and that's all you have. So please don't let weaving in ends scare you from this design, because it really doesn't have to. And one other thing is that to make my square actually end up square and my increase rate work, the corner stitches aren't symmetrical. So it's not a typo. It's actually 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 double crochet.
Yes.
And that's on purpose, and it's not a typo. So
right.
Before anyone asks.
Yes. No, that's an excellent point. To make your square work out right, normally those corners are the same number of double crochet on each side of the chain, but in this case it's not, so that it works out. So I appreciate you bringing that up. What I think I might do is just, if that question comes up, I will now know how to answer it. That's awesome. You had mentioned to me that you are a left-handed crocheter. So just explain to everyone what they can expect when they see your pattern on your blog post.
So like all the written instructions are exactly the same. Everything is symmetrical, so you don't have to worry about like changing any of the written instruction. Just like the pictures are taken with like a left-handed doing the stitches and like doing the rounds. So like my rounds go in that direction and your rounds probably go in the other direction. So that why you might look, when I show some pictures where I show just the corner, you see like half a row, it's going in this direction, and then you don't see the rest of the row because I stopped at the corner. But for you, it would be like on the other corner that you would start your row. I hope this is making
right.
sense.
So right-handers go counterclockwise, and left-handers go clockwise. So in the pictures, we're seeing you work all of the tutorials in a clockwise fashion.
Exactly.
That's also helpful information. Is there anything else that you would like for makers of your fabulous square to know before they dive in?
No, nothing that I can think of right now.
Okay.
I did use it for a blanket in chunky weight, so it works very well in chunky weight too. If you want to use the design for like another project than the call, you just do less rows to adjust the size to whatever size you want, and it looks very pretty. And I do recommend that you use highly contrasting colors. If your colors are too close by, because it's like all those little dots of gray in this example, if you use 2 colors that are too close by, the pattern won't come out nicely. I can't hear you anymore, Debbie. I don't know. Can't hear you. It looks like you're muted.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're back.
My AirPods decided to have a moment, just like Chrome did for me yesterday. Isn't that great? So technology, yay.
Yay.
So the sound will be a little bit different because I'm now through my computer. What was I about to? Oh, one thing that I thought was fabulous about this, and I think a lot of the squares that we're making in this crochet along, this applies to. You can repeat the rows to make it bigger. So you can make pillows, you can make blankets, you can make anything that you want square from that's bigger than the 12 inches that we're including in this crochet along.
Or smaller. Like mine is just
Or
a 2-row
smaller.
repeat. So you can make it like just the first 4 rows rounds or like as many as you want.
Perfect. I love it when things are adaptable. I am going to pop up the square in the colors that I chose for the blanket so that you can see the difference. Mine are a little bit closer in color, so it mutes that effect a little bit. This one is much more dramatic than that one, but I think both of them work. But I love the comment that you made about picking highly contrasting colors. For those who are using scraps from their stash, pick 2 really colors that are on either end of the light and dark spectrum for a really dramatic look.
I love it in the colors of the crochet along. So.
Yeah, it's a very fall kind of thing, isn't it?
But like anything pink, I will love. So.
It's kind of I thought about doing a pumpkin color, but this is terracotta, which has that pink in it. So it changes kind of with the lighting, which is really cool. Well, if there isn't anything else that we have to say about your square, let me go back to that so we can see it one more time. This is square 3 in the Granny Stitch Sampler Crochet Along Blanket. So if you have any questions, pop them in the Facebook group, or now don't bug Hortense a lot about her square. It's really very well written. But if you do have a question that only the designer can answer, absolutely ask her. But we should be able to take care of it in the Facebook group. We have loved talking to you today. And I know that those in the group will enjoy hearing about your square, hearing about your business, hearing about all of the wonderful things that you do. And I'm going to encourage everybody to subscribe to your newsletter, to sign up for all the things so that they can be a part of your community as well.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. I love sharing what I do and why I do it the way I do. So that's
well, thank you again. Good luck with your squares, everybody. And we'll be back in the group on Monday with a new square. Thanks, everybody.